Good morning. Hello out there, Facebook world, YouTube world. Nice to see you. I'm Ali Benjamin, and this is our Sunday Growing Edge live broadcast, your spiritual tune in and tune up. And we get together every Sunday, and I'm so glad that you're here. Whether you've been with us for some time or you're a regular, well, that's the same thing. Whether you're with us for some time or you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm so glad that you're here. I know that there'll be something that I share today that will touch your heart and lift your spirits. So I'm very happy you're here. We call it Growing Edge because my theory is that each of us are on the very growing edge of our own becoming, our own life. And we can interact with life and move our life in the direction we want it to go by being conscious, by being awake, by being aware, and utilizing, understanding spiritual principles that help us interface with this amazing, wonderful experience we call life. So that's the Growing Edge. And I'm going to be sharing some downloads that I've had on healing. And so I'm super glad you're here, and I'm looking forward to diving in. So where are you? What are you up to? And drop a comment below so we can interact with one another throughout this. So here I have a little song to play for you. My friend Leslie wrote this.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge, on the growing edge.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Growing Edge. I'm Ali Benjamin, and this is your spiritual tune in and tune up. You can come and gather with us every Sunday live here on Facebook, or you can jump over to YouTube and you can watch the replay. So welcome. Growing Edge Live is an opportunity for us to gather as a virtual community and get a little hit on some positivity. And so today I'm going to be sharing some uploads, downloads, insights that I've had on healing. And so why don't we start with a little grounding meditation. So close your outer eyes and take a minute, just breathe and center yourself in this moment. There's nowhere else to be other than to be here now, fully present in this moment. Because the now moment is really the only place we've ever truly existed. The now moment is how we interface with life, with God, with the one infinite, omniscient, omnipresence, omnipotence, the divine intelligence that organizes and maintains the universe, the power and the force and the energy that is harnessed when we go about creating. And this everywhere, all at once, no circumference, completely centered everywhere. Power, source for good. The grand overall designing presence. It's here, it's now. It's on, it's available. Constant access to infinite possibilities, potentialities. Each one of us, here at the very edge of our own becoming. Heart-centered, grounded, open and receptive. Let's breathe that in and just center ourselves. Maybe put your hand on your heart and breathe, centering yourself in this amazing, mysterious, wonderful now moment. Exhale, open your eyes, and welcome. Welcome. I'm Allie, and I'm here in Farmington, Utah, and I'd love to know where you are. And if I share something today that you find interesting, annoying, inspiring, go ahead and drop a comment below so we can have a conversation, because that's what helps us stay on our spiritual path, stay on our consciousness path, keeps us engaged in building ourselves and doing the inner engineering, organizing how we interface with the world. This is what it's all about, this thing called life. It's knowing who we are, what we are, where we are, and what we're going to do about all of that. And so today I'm going to be talking about the word heal, healing. I've been choosing letters from the alphabet, working from A to Z, or my English family, Z, A to Z. And this month of April has been all about H, this last couple of weeks anyway. And so there's so many H words that I could have chosen, and I'm going to tie in all kinds of H words today for your spiritual delight. And so really when we start to wake up, and that might happen for you, maybe through a crisis, a trauma, a loss, or maybe a really amazing high. Maybe you had a hike in nature, or maybe you did some traveling, or maybe you were engaged in a hobby or something you love to do, and all of a sudden you had a deeper connection with reality. Whatever caused you to open your eyes and say, whoa, there's more to this life than I thought. I want to understand more about myself, why I'm here, and what I can do moving forward so that I can be more engaged in life, be a beneficial presence, and feel more meaning and have more fulfillment in my life. Many of us get to this point somewhere along the course of our life, and that's what I'm calling an opportunity to wake up. And so once we start waking up, we start to see that there's healing that needs to happen. Healing in our life, healing our past, forgiveness work that needs to happen, especially forgiving ourselves. And as we start to heal, we start to see that we need more balance in our lives, because each of us probably have a sort of a tendency or a natural bias towards being overly identified with the mind, overly identified with our feelings, emotions, our heart, or overly identified with the world, the body of the world, the stuff that's going on around us. So you might want to just take a moment to think about that. Where do you spend a majority of your time when you're triggered, when you're upset, when you've been activated by something that's going on? Do you go to the head and begin to obsess and sort of chew on an idea, or trying to fix a problem, or come to a greater understanding? Or do you find yourself being consumed by your emotions? Do you get really sad? Do you find that you're depressed? Or do you get consumed with trying to organize the world around you to make yourself feel better? Typically, we can all engage in all of these ways, but you might find that you have one that's sort of dominant. And that's good to know. This is a step we take on our healing path to greater self-awareness and deeper connection and communion with God, Spirit, the universe, higher intelligence, whatever name you have for God, it's all good here. And so we're looking to go from this place of hurt, of confusion, of, I call it living by default, kind of just going with life and what it throws at us, and we're being moved around by our thoughts and our emotions and our tendencies and habits, but in an unconscious way, to where it doesn't take us anywhere. It sort of gives us a closed, tight, narrow view of the world. It can feel like a spiraling downwards or a closing in. And when we feel that, when we're starting to feel like life is closing in on us, and we start to maybe get anxiety or worry, or we start to feel really depressed or discontent or indifferent, it can be very hard on our physical body. It can be because our thoughts and our body are connected. Mind and body connection. And science and mainstream medicine is seeing this correlation of stress with disease or illness. And so stressful thoughts, stress that we put on ourselves, and then we can have a breakdown in our health, emotional health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. And so we get these wake-up calls, and we have an opportunity when we wake up to take charge of our own healing, our own recovery. It's about recovering our true essence. And we start to realize that there's something more than this mind and this body. There's a spiritual self, a soulful self, that is actually witnessing the mind and the body in action. And when we take that leap, when we wake up to who and what we truly are as spiritual beings, having a human experience, and especially if there's a crisis, health, financial, relationship, vocational crisis, we're propelled even faster to do something. And so today, I'm going to share some ideas that I have on our own ability to tap into the body's natural ability to heal itself, and to link our mind to our body so that we're working in unison. So we've got balance between our mind, our heart, and our body. Mind, body, and soul. And we have a sort of a balanced way. We question ourselves when we get triggered. What am I thinking? What emotions am I having? How am I feeling? And then the body, what am I sensing here? What am I sensing? And we start to see that we can bring a little bit more balance. If we have that natural dominant tendency to overthink, we can then call upon our instincts, our intuition, and our emotions, our feelings. If we're over emotional, we can start to draw more on our mind, our infinite or authentic wisdom that we have access to when we're in a more balanced state. And we can draw upon our instincts. We can get a sense of, how's my body feeling? How am I being intuitively guided to make this decision or that decision? And we awaken these dormant or latent senses that we all have access to harness those powers, those energies, those faculties in service of our healing, in service of our health. So I've created an acronym, which I love to do, and I've taken the word heal and I've chosen the word H, or the letter H, to stand for harness. When we're on the healing path, we harness our authentic power. Your authentic power is that power that comes from gaining balance and being centered. When we have balance between our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, our intuition, we're then sort of buoyed up into this soulful self, this essential self. And then we get to harness that power and the synergy that's created by giving equal attention to our thoughts, our feelings, and our instincts, then wakes us up. It's like if you play video games and you conquer particular levels, you then go up to a higher level. You get to have greater access to more. And that's what we do in our lives. We gain greater access to the infinite possibilities and potentialities that are only available to us when we've healed certain things, healed our childhood beliefs and traumas, and when we've healed certain relationships, we've forgiven those, and we've allowed ourselves to forgive ourselves. And so we harness our authentic power when we stay in that centered place of our essential self. Second letter E, elevate. Elevate your perspective. As you occupy your authentic self, this soulful self, this higher realm self, you start to see from a broader perspective. You don't take things as personally. You start to have greater access to the divine mind, to your higher intellect, so that you can make informed decisions. You're not just operating by reacting to the world and what's happening from fear or doubts. You're then elevated, so you're always motivated by love. That's what happens when you elevate and you have this broader perspective. You then can make informed, heart-centered decisions in your life. And when that happens, you'll start to see things seem to click. And this is where when we have a greater understanding of the laws of the universe, such as the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, we understand why it's so important to stay at this elevated place of your essential self, your soulful self, because then we have greater control, conscious control over what we experience in our lives. When we're coming from this balanced place, this awakened place, this witnessing perspective, we then start to see things organize themselves in the physical world around us to support our joy and our abundance, our health. People will show up, ideas will pop in, feelings will be lifted up. We'll start to have conversations with the world, whether it's verbal conversations or energetic conversations with things that make us feel like we're in the right place at the right time, we're in the zone, we're in the flow. And we find ourselves in this elevated place, being in the flow of the now, rather than lingering in the past or projecting into the future. It's most beneficial to be elevated into the now. Remember, the now is where we communicate with God. The now is where we pray. So in this elevated place, when we're harnessing our authentic power, we're elevating our perspective, we're then in the place of prayer. This is where you state what it is you're coming into alignment with, what your heart desires, what your whole soul desires. And then an opening happens. The world reorganizes itself to support that vision, that prayer, that idea, that thing that wants to happen by means of you. So you get to harness your power, you get to elevate your perspective, and you get to advance, and that's the next word, HEA. You get to advance in the direction of your vision. You get to move, you get to build momentum. How do you do that? You start to think in a certain way. You start to act in a certain way that aligns with who you want to be, of where you want to go, of what you want to realize. You get to advance yourself, advance your vision, advance your life in the direction you want to go. It's all about you, and it's about you making informed decisions that are going to not only benefit you, but everyone and everything around you. Why everything and everyone around you? Because we're all one. Once we've woken up from our sleepful state, we come to that elevated soulful self, we understand that everything we do affects everything else. And so this is why it's so important. Like Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. You get to be that change by harnessing your authentic power, by elevating your perspective and advancing your vision, activating those dreams and desires within you. Spend some time when you're in that higher elevated place of identifying what would you love? Who would you love to be? That's visioning. That's setting your sights on something bigger, something more expansive. And when you identify that vision of you in the future, you start to advance in that direction energetically, emotionally, physically. It's a beautiful thing to experience. And so the last letter is L, and L, I've chosen live. Live it. We get to live this new integrated way of being and moving and thinking in our lives, because living it, that's the way we share with others more effectively than preaching, than sharing it, than giving people advice and all of that. We live by example. You see other people doing things. You see things that you'd like to experience, and it's through seeing the life, people living it and doing it, that we are then inspired to have that, to follow that example. And so we can be a spiritual example, a beneficial presence on this planet by how we live our life. So how are you living your life? Are you living your best life? Are you able to take everything that you've learned and now integrate that into your life so you've actualized all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the experience, all the lessons, and then started to live it so people can say, yeah, he walks his talk, she walks her talk, they walk their talk. And in that, you become the divine example. Just like the master teacher, he wasn't the divine exception. He was the divine example. And he said, greater things ye shall do, because we are the evolutionary edge of everything that's come before us. And we get to live by the example that those that we've found to be inspiring, to be spiritually empowering, we get to take what they've shown us and continue living that example. This is how we heal. So, let's see. just have a few more minutes. So I want to share some fun words, some fun H words to support you in actualizing or grounding or bringing this into your real world, into your life, and to help you heal faster, to help you sort of take the driver's seat on your healing path. So, hearing spirit. Are you spending time listening? Are you spending time having that one-sided conversation with the universe? It's called meditation. It's a one-sided conversation with God. And you're not doing any of the speaking or the talking. It's you merely listening. Are you hearing? Are you listening to that innate wisdom? It's that still small voice within you that is God, that is the divine. And when you do spiritual hearing, you get spiritual healing. Heavy lifting. Let your higher self do the lifting. Hand over your burdens to God. Hand over your burdens to the universe. And you'll see that you have everything available. It doesn't just depend on you, your mind and your body to sort out your issues, to overcome problems. Let it go. Let it go to the hands that know the how. Let your higher self, let God do the heavy lifting. Healing affirmations. I can't underscore how important affirmations are. Positive thinking. Create a beautiful, supportive, healing mantra for yourself. If you want support in crafting one, DM me. I'd love to help you create a mantra, a healing mantra. Healthy choices. What are you eating? What are you thinking? What are you doing to support your body's health? Healthy choices. Helping others. Don't get so obsessed with your own body, your own mind, and your own little world. Expand it. Start helping others, and you'll see energy flows where your attention goes, and you'll start to lift up everyone around you. And the wonderful side effect of this is you get lifted up in that synergistic wave of healing. High sight. I love this. Instead of hindsight, high sight. See the good in everything. And then hands. Hands on the steering wheel. What way are you going? You're responsible for the direction you choose, the energy and attention you give it, and the experience you have. Take responsibility. Put your hands on life and drive yourself in the direction that you want to go. Become the beautiful divine being you are born to be, that you're born to create. You have access to everything. It's right there within you. Call upon it. Ask for help. That's another great H word. Ask for help. There's so many people that you can call on that will give you help in whatever it is you're experiencing. I'm one of them. So don't hesitate. That's another word. Don't get hijacked by those thoughts. Just simply surrender to that higher self and don't hesitate in asking for help. Here at the Satya Center, here at Growing Edge Live, we have practitioners that would love to support you on your healing journey. DM us. We'll get you linked up with someone that can support you in realizing your dreams, in overcoming some of life's challenges. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your ongoing love and support. If this ministry supports you and you'd like to financially support it, you can go to Venmo, Satya Center, and share your abundance there. Or you can go to our website, growingedgelive.com. So let's just close with a blessing. May all beings without exception feel the fullness and the wholeness right where they are. Tap into their innate wisdom and allow their essential self to take the lead. Simply sinking into the heart, giving thanks, knowing that we're in this together. Namaste, and so it is. Peace and blessings.